The largest predatory shark that ever lived was 50 feet long, heavier than a semi-truck, with teeth the size of your palm. Megalodon ruled the oceans for millions of years, then vanished from the fossil record. Or did it? Most of the deep sea has never been explored, and one idea refuses to die. It says Megalodon never went extinct at all. The shark retreated, down into the crushing dark of the deepest trench on Earth. And it is still down there right now. It is a thrilling thought. It is also almost certainly wrong, and the reason why is more interesting than the myth. Start with the animal itself, because the myth shrinks it. Autodus Megalodon was real, and it was enormous, one of the largest marine predators since the age of the dinosaurs. Its teeth have been found on every continent except Antarctica, some the size of a human palm. Those teeth are how we know it existed, and they are how we know when it stopped existing. Megalodon lived from roughly 23 million to about 3.6 million years ago. That end date is not a guess. In 2019, a team led by paleontologist Robert Bosenecker re-examined the fossil record and pinned the extinction near 3.6 million years ago, the point where Megalodon teeth stop appearing in the rock and seabed. And here is a clean test of the hiding theory. Sharks shed and regrow teeth constantly, thousands over a lifetime. If Megalodon were still out there, we would be pulling fresh teeth from the seafloor and finding its bite marks on big whales. We find neither. That absence is not silence. It is a signal. Now the trench, because that is where the myth lives. The Mariana Trench is the deepest place on the planet, plunging to about 36,000 feet. It is the obvious hiding spot in people's minds, a vast dark gap on the map where anything could lurk. And here is the thing. We genuinely have not explored most of it. That much of the myth is true, but a hiding place has to be somewhere the animal could actually live, and this is where the trench falls apart for Megalodon. Down there, the water sits just above freezing, around 34 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit all year. There is no light, and crucially, there is very little food. The deepest zone of the sea runs entirely on scraps that drift down from above, and the life scraping by on them is small. Sea cucumbers, tiny shrimp-like creatures, single-celled organisms. It is a near-empty pantry at the bottom of the world. There is another problem the myth never mentions. No shark we know of lives anywhere near that deep. Sharks are common down to about 6,600 feet, and they thin out fast below that. Below roughly 9,800 feet, they are almost entirely absent. The deepest living shark ever confirmed is the Portuguese dogfish, recorded near 12,000 feet. That sounds deep until you line it up against the trench, which bottoms out near 36,000 feet. The deepest shark on record reaches only about a third of the way down. And that record holder is a small animal, only about 3 feet long, built for the cold and the pressure, with an oil-rich liver that keeps it afloat. Megalodon was none of those things. It was 50 feet of warm-blooded muscle, designed for the sunlit surface. The idea that a shark that size could live where no shark of any size has ever been found runs against everything we know about sharks and depth. To see why the trench is so hostile, you have to know how Megalodon ran its body, and a 2023 study nailed this down. A team from UCLA, UC Merced, and William Patterson University analyzed isotopes locked in the enamel of fossil Megalodon teeth. Their finding, published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, was that Megalodon was warm-blooded. It kept its body about 13 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than the water around it. That is a real, measured number, not a legend. Being warm-blooded was Megalodon's superpower. It let the shark move fast, hunt hard, and dominate as an apex predator. But that heat came with a bill. and the bill was enormous. Keeping a 50-foot body that much warmer than the sea burns a staggering amount of energy. To pay for it, Megalodon needed to eat a lot, and it needed to eat big. This animal was built to hunt whales, seals, and other large prey in warm, productive waters. That appetite was not a preference. It was a requirement. Line those facts up, and the trench idea collapses on its own. Megalodon needed warm water and huge prey. The Mariana Trench offers near-freezing water and almost nothing to eat. A warm-blooded giant dropped into that cold, empty dark would not find a secret refuge. It would find a slow starvation. There is no way to feed an animal that size on the thin trickle of food that reaches the bottom of the sea. The very depth that supposedly hides it is the thing that would kill it. The fossils say the same about where Megalodon lived. Its teeth cluster in what were warm, shallow coastal waters and continental shelves, the sunlit zones rich with marine mammals. It was a creature of the warm surface world, not the frozen deep, so the trench was never its hiding place to begin with, not while it lived, and certainly not now. If it is really gone, then what are people seeing? Every so often, a sighting goes viral, and every time, it turns out to be something else. In 2022, researchers from the Atlantic Shark Institute picked up a 50-foot shape on their sonar off Rhode Island, and briefly wondered if a Meg had swum under the boat. It had not. The shape resolved into a large school of Atlantic mackerel, packed tight enough to read as one massive body on the screen. Surface sightings usually have a different answer. Basking sharks and whale sharks, both gentle filter feeders that reach 40 feet and cruise near the top, look monstrous to a startled eye. John Chisholm of the New England Aquarium has made the basic point whenever these stories spread. Megalodon has been extinct for over 3 million years, so whatever people are looking at, it is not one. The photos and videos are the same story. Most are misidentified sharks, and the rest are hoaxes or clips lifted from movies. There is no verified sighting, no body, no fresh tooth. There is only a big shape, a bad angle, and a name people want to believe. There is even a leading theory for why it disappeared, and it ties back to that warm blood. During the Pliocene, the planet cooled. Sea levels shifted, and the warm coastal habitats that fed Megalodon shrank and broke apart. Its prey thinned out and moved. Around the same time, a leaner competitor was spreading worldwide, the modern great white shark, hunting the same food with a smaller appetite. Boassenecker's team proposed that this competition, alongside the cooling and habitat loss, helped push Megalodon out. It is a hypothesis, not a closed case, and researchers still debate how big a role the great white played. But the logic is sound. A giant that needs enormous amounts of large prey is dangerously exposed when that prey collapses. That is a far more satisfying story than a monster in a trench. Megalodon was not beaten in a single fight. It was priced out of existence by a changing planet. So could Megalodon still be alive, hiding in the deep? Almost certainly not, and now the reason is clear. It was a warm water hunter with a giant appetite. No shark lives anywhere near trench depth, and the deep sea is a freezing, food-poor desert that could never feed it. The wonder is still real. Most of the deep is unmapped, and it surely hides animals we have not met. But the biggest shark that ever lived is not one of them. The teeth stopped falling 3.6 million years ago, and the deep ocean, for all its mystery, is the one place that could never hide a giant like that.